In a case that has sparked national debate and legal scrutiny, the High Court in Pretoria has been asked to determine who holds the ultimate authority over the burial of former Zambian President Edgar Lungu, whose death in South Africa earlier this month has triggered a complex dispute between his widow and the Zambian government. The courtroom heard arguments asserting that a corpse has no rights, a provocative legal stance aimed at reinforcing the widow's claim to exclusive decision-making power regarding her late husband's final resting place. Esther Lungu, the former First Lady, insists that she alone should determine where and how her husband is buried, citing both personal and legal grounds rooted in South African inheritance law. The Zambian government, meanwhile, has expressed its intention to repatriate Lungu's body to Lusaka for a state funeral, arguing that his status as a former head of state warrants a national ceremony. Officials claim that arrangements were made in consultation with certain family members, but Esther Lungu's legal team has challenged the legitimacy of those agreements, stating that no one other than the widow has the legal standing to authorize burial decisions. The case has drawn attention to the intersection of personal grief, state protocol, and legal jurisdiction, raising questions about sovereignty, dignity, and the symbolic ownership of public figures after death. Representing Esther Lungu is prominent South African advocate Thembeka Ngukai-Toby, who argued that the deceased cannot be treated as property and that burial decisions must respect the rights of the surviving spouse. He emphasized that South African law does not recognize contracts over corpses and that the widow's wishes should prevail, especially in the absence of a written will or prior burial instructions from the deceased. Ngukai-Toby's legal framing positions the dispute not merely as a family disagreement, but as a constitutional matter involving the rights of individuals versus the prerogatives of the state. The court's deliberations have been closely followed by legal scholars, political analysts, and citizens across Zambia and South Africa, many of whom see the case as a litmus test for how democratic societies balance personal autonomy with national symbolism. The notion that a former president's burial could be contested in a foreign court underscores the complexities of cross-border legal frameworks and the emotional weight of state funerals. For some, the government's insistence on a public ceremony reflects a desire to honor Lungu's legacy and reinforce national unity. For others, it raises concerns about political appropriation of personal grief and the erosion of family rights. Esther Lungu's stance has also sparked broader conversations about the role of widows in African societies, particularly in contexts where patriarchal norms often marginalize their voices. Her legal challenge is being interpreted by some commentators as a bold assertion of agency, challenging both cultural expectations and institutional power. The outcome of the case could set a precedent for future disputes involving high-profile figures, especially in cases where personal and political identities are deeply intertwined. As the court prepares to issue its ruling, the stakes remain high. A decision in favor of the widow could affirm the primacy of family rights and personal dignity, while a ruling for the state might reinforce the notion that public figures belong to the nation even in death. Either way, the case has already reshaped public discourse around death, legacy, and the legal boundaries of mourning. It has also highlighted the need for clearer protocols and legal instruments to guide burial decisions for national leaders, ensuring that such disputes do not overshadow the solemnity of farewell.